to the second of our special election Owlbutcasts. Yeah, so called because we're going to be talking about the election. Right, so oh yes, that's right, you went on holiday, didn't you? You went back to see your family. And you took Colin? It's nice, right. Would I like to see the photos? Have you got some photos? Okay, well you show me the photo. Oh yes, is that with all your brothers? Oh, very nice. Okay, well you're back now and we're going to do Owlbutcast if you don't mind. Okay, yes, right. Well, actually if you go back to the last Owlbutcast, which was 2 weeks ago, there were 3 things I said in it that I was going to look up so as I could actually tell you whether I'd got it right or not, because I hadn't investigated it. The first one was that I said that there were now no MPs because Parliament had been dissolved, but I wondered what happened if... No, I don't think that was one of my rhetorical questions, no. I wondered what happened if there was a national emergency and we had to have Parliament sitting. And I found that out for you, and in fact, once Parliament's dissolved, it cannot be recalled. Nothing can happen that recalls it. So all decisions are made by the ministers in the government, or the Prime Minister, because they keep their position once Parliament is dissolved, and they keep their position until the results of the election are known. And in fact that brings up one strange little fact, that in 2010, when no party had more seats, a majority, no party had more seats than all the others put together, there had to be some chatting going on between the leaders of various parties to see who could work together. And during that time, from the election results until they actually decided that it was going to be the Conservatives and Liberal Democrats who worked together, there had to be a big decision made about EU giving money to Greece, who were almost bankrupt. And the decision had to be signed off, and it had to be signed off by a man called Alistair Darling, who was the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the Labour government that was now no more. And I believe he consulted with the prospective Chancellor of the Conservative Party, a man called George Osborne, and also the Liberal Democrats' finance spokesman, whose name I have actually forgotten, and I'm not going to look that up and tell you it next time. Second thing I was going to tell you was what percentage of the vote you have to get so that you do not lose your deposit. You pay £500 to be an MP or be a candidate for MP. If you get more than 5% of the vote, which is what I actually said, so I got that bit right, then you don't lose your deposit. If you get less than 5%, you lose your deposit. And the third thing I was going to look up was I said there were over 40 million voters in the country. Now you could claim that I got that right, but I'm not going to, because I think it's about 46 or 47 million people who are going to be able to vote in this election. So that clears up what happened last time. Thank you, yes. And now let's see what's been happening in the last 2 weeks. Well, I think all, in fact, of the 7 major parties, Conservative, Labour, Liberal Democrats, Reform, Green, Scottish Nationalist and Plaid Cymru, the Welsh Nationalist Party, they have all now published their manifestos. And one of the things you may have heard if you've been listening to this is that they will all be telling you that their manifestos are fully costed. Now what that means is that if you look at the manifestos, you can if you want, but I'm not going to look at any of them. If you look at the manifestos, you will see that they say, right, we are going to do this and it's going to cost this much, and this is where we're going to get the money to do it. Basically the government spend money on health, education, police, all those sorts of things, and they collect money from taxpayers and businesses and in other ways that pay for all that. So when they say it's fully costed, what they mean is that we've costed over 5 years, because the manifesto will take them through 5 years of the next Parliament, we've costed how we're going to do things, and we've worked out how we can pay for it. it's a little bit iffy because, let me give you an example. You have pocket money of £5.60 a week, and I ask you, well, what are you going to do with that for the next 5 years? And you say, well, I'm going to buy 100 bars of chocolate every year, and a bar of chocolate costs £2, so that's going to cost me £200 each year. Now you and I know that next year, the year after, the year after and the year after, bars of chocolate are going to probably cost something like £2.50, £2.80, whatever. So if you've costed it on the basis of £2 now, you're not going to have enough money to do it at the end. On the other side of it, if I say to you, how are you going to be able to pay for those bars of chocolate? You may say to me, well, I've got £5.60, but my parents normally only give me £5 because they say, oh, I haven't got any change or anything. So I'm going to make sure I get that extra 60p. As far as the government's concerned, what they're saying is they're going to make a lot of money by catching people who avoid tax. Yeah, but will they succeed? We do not know. So basically it's a bit iffy as to how these manifestos are set out, how they're going to get the income, which is taxes. Both the Conservatives and Labour leaders' manifestos have said they will not increase income tax, which comes off your salary, they will not increase national insurance, which comes off your salary, and they will not increase VAT, which is a tax that is on most goods that you buy, most things that you buy, chocolate bars included probably. So they're not going to increase those, and they have said, I think they both actually said it, there will be no tax increase for working people. Well, do they mean that? Because if they then put up fuel tax or road tax, we, working people, are going to have to pay it. And I think what they should have said, to be slightly more honest, is we're not going to put any more tax on the income you earn or on the goods that VAT, value added tax, is charged on. But they could increase other taxes, and that could come back to us. If they increase taxes on businesses, then businesses may have to put their prices up, so we, ordinary people, working people, may have to have an increase in what we spend because of it. So that's the manifestos that they've been talking about. They are still going on with the meetings, with the debates on television, various people at various stages in various ways they're doing it. There's quite a lot of audience participation, with audience asking questions, and that's quite interesting. The other thing that's happening is there's a lot on social media, and I was reading today, and I'm really a bit worried about this because I don't see how it's going to work. I shouldn't worry. It's not a good thing. Okay, I won't worry about it. But basically, there is a trending hashtag on social media at the moment which is saying Labour losing. And I read the thinking behind it is it's put in there by the Reform Party. Now the Reform Party are a new party, although they did have various other guises in the last 10-15 years or so. But they're a new party, and they are probably going to get votes off the Conservatives. I read that the thinking behind this was that if they put in Labour losing, then Conservative voters will think, oh, Labour's going to lose, we need to vote for reform. I would have thought it's more likely that if you trend Labour losing, then Labour voters are going to think, oh, we're going to lose, we better get out and vote. But I don't know. It's just probably one of the first elections where a lot of social media is being used, and I believe the Prime Minister and possibly the leaders of other parties have actually been on TikTok. No, I've never been on TikTok. Not once. So, there we are. What else can I tell you? Well, as well as debates, which are on television, they also have things called hustings. Hustings. And shall we put that up there? Hustings. And what is the hustings is that various candidates in a constituency will all be there to answer questions from people. You've done in a town hall or a village hall, answer questions from the voters. And that's when these hustings take place. Sometimes they don't take place when they were supposed to take place, but there we are. Who knows what that is about? Is there anything else that you should look out for? Not really. This will just continue with the parties saying what they're going to do and announcing, as they always do, what the other party mean when they say what they've said. If they've said they're going to do this, that means they're going to have to put taxes up. Maybe it doesn't. Just, in my view, they should just get on and say what they're going to do. And also, in my view, once they've said what they're going to do, guess what? I believe they should actually go and do it. So there we are. So there'll be more debates. You can watch that. We're coming back on the 1st of July. You're coming back. Oh yes, Albert will be back on the 26th of June. Not on here. Well, we might put a little video up because it's your birthday, isn't it? Are you having a party? Right, okay. Well, on the 27th of June, if I said that, I can't remember what I said now. 27th of June is your birthday, isn't it? So you'll be back. What? Wait a minute. You'll be back from where? Oh, you're now going to see Colin's family. Oh, that's nice. I wonder if he's got brothers like you. Now we'll have brothers like him. Yeah. Point taken. So yes, you're back on the 27th. In fact, it's a very busy week for some people like me, because 27th is your birthday. 28th is my grandson's birthday, and the 29th my daughter is getting married. So lots to do. We'll be back though on the 1st of July, and then we'll look more closely at the actual election night. Election day is July the 4th, 10 o'clock, everything's finished. The ballot boxes will all be sealed and taken to wherever they're going to be counted. And that's when it gets exciting-ish. Yes. So, thank you for listening to this little one. Not a big thing this week, it's just to give you an ongoing look at what's been happening. And we'll be back on the 1st of July, and then we're going to do another one on the 8th of July, when the election result will be known, and probably we will know which party is going to govern for the next 5 years. I say probably because if it could be that it's close, like it was in 2010. It doesn't look likely. The polls haven't changed much. If you remember last time we spoke, Labour had a lead of about 20%. They still do. Some polls are saying other things. Some polls are saying that Reform are voting, having more votes percentage-wise than the Conservatives. But because of the system we run, he said, digressing again, I thought we'd finished then. We haven't. Sometimes more people can vote for a party, but the other party wins more seats. And it's the the party that wins the most seats who form the government. And just to give you an example of that, in 1951, the Labour Party, which at the time was the government, had been governing for 5 years or so, the Labour Party won 48.8% of the vote, and the Conservatives won 48%. So more people voted Labour than Conservative. But because of the way it worked in the constituencies, the Conservatives won 321 seats, had 321 MPs, and Labour only had 295. So, strange system, you may think. Go away and think about it. So we don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen, but it does look as though Labour will be winning. Let's see if we're right. Okay? See you in 2 weeks' time. Bye! Yes, you better pack your toothbrush. Yes, I would. Okay. Yes, off you go.